Hi, everyone. It seems that we're live right now. We're just going to wait for others to join. I think we'll start this up around 8:01. Well, guys, it's 8 o'clock. I hope everyone's with us now. Welcome to the INX AMA, Ask Me Anything. Today, we've got some folks on the management team. We have Shai Datika, our CEO, Alan Silbert, CEO of the Americas, Maya Noor, who runs product, and myself, Douglas Borthwick. First of all, thank you very much for joining us. It's a very exciting day for us, obviously, given what's happening tomorrow. I'd like to give you sort of an overview of where the firm has been, what we've been doing for the last 3 months, because I think there's been lots of questions about that. And then after that, we will go in. David Whelan will say a couple of words. David's our chairman of the board. And then Shai Datika, I think, may have some things to say as well. And then we'll start taking the questions, and we've had a lot of them. So also joining us right now is David Whelan. David is the ex-vice chairman of NASDAQ. He has his own investment firm, Whelan Company, and David is our chairman of the board and a great addition, or he's been really with us from the start of the journey. So INX, the last 3 months. Well, it's certainly been exciting. Obviously, we closed at the IPO. The IPO raised a considerable amount of money thanks to our incredible community. On the back of that, we entered into a number of transactions. We closed on the open finance transaction, which is from now on called INX Securities. That transaction got us a broker-dealer and an ATS, or alternative trading system, for the trading of digital assets. Many of you have been onboarding there. I think that when we got it, the onboarding time was around 3 months to onboard onto open finance. I think with INX Securities, you should expect the onboarding experience to probably be around 3 business days. So we've tightened that up considerably, and we've hired a considerable amount of people to help with the onboarding there. We also did an acquisition where we bought a company called ILS Brokers. ILS Brokers is a interdealer broker that is in Israel right now, but we're looking to expand it into the UK and the US. It right now does around $5 billion a month in trading volume, and we're looking to add onto it a non-deliverable forward product for the trading of Bitcoin and Ethereum. This product right now is in discussion with a number of banks in the US and outside the US. The actual contract has not yet been finalized for how this will trade and the fungibility versus the futures contracts, but it's something that we're deep in the woods in and working very, very hard on. In terms of employees, we've gone from about 15 employees when the IPO started to around I think it's over 75 employees today. We've got folks in the United States, in the UK, in Israel, and Cyprus, and also in Gibraltar. So we're doing quite a lot of expansion. We've made significant upgrades to the API that currently is trading on the digital side, that's the crypto side. And then on the security token side, when we took over OFN, we realized it was maybe used to trading around 60 trades a week. And we've had to update the technology there considerably, which is why I think everyone's been a little anxious about the delay over when we list. I will say this, though. 3 years ago, folks looked at MetaMask wallets and said, this is never going to work. This is not going to be how you do actual trades. But the reality is, today, DeFi trades through MetaMask wallets, and it's billions of dollars a day. So that we've actually lucked into a system that seems to be trading very, very well in the DeFi space, and now we're going to start using that to trade security tokens in a way they haven't been traded before. Again, as a reminder, the INX token is one that's accessible to all of retail. I think that folks have sometimes been confused and thought this is only for accredited investors. That's actually not the case. The INX token can be traded by anybody as long as you go through the KYC and AML procedures that are asked for on the site. INX Digital is also open. INX Digital is open to select states in the US based upon where we have money transmitter license or MT licenses. But the securities trading platform is open to all of the United States and many other countries. And if you go to our website, you can see the geo availability. As you know, when we sold the token initially, it was only sold to folks in the US based upon what we call blue sky laws. And that meant we were restricted to, I think it was something like 17 states. When we go into the secondary trading, it opens up the availability for folks to buy this from every state in the United States and many other countries. So we're very, very excited about what we're about to go into. And tomorrow we're very excited for. I think I'm going to pass you now to David. David, if you're okay with this, and maybe David can say some words from the board regarding their thoughts about INX. David.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Doug. I thought that was terrific. Look, I got involved with the company because I thought they were going through the front door of regulation and doing something that many in the market weren't doing. And for those of you that don't know me, I get full credit for being father of the Jobs Act as well. I've worked a lot down in Washington. I've spoken at the G20. I've spoken at the Federation of Exchanges in Europe and in Jordan at the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. And so, when Shai and Alan and others invited me to come on the board of directors and told me that they were going right straight through the Securities and Exchange Commission's front door and going to register the first token as a security, I couldn't have been more excited and more delighted, because I think that ultimately this marketplace is going to be really in the hands of serious investors, and that requires people doing things in a very serious and forthright fashion. And so I think that these folks are really exceptional and unique in that way. So without further ado, I just introduce Shai and Alan. Shai is the founder and the visionary and an experienced entrepreneur. Alan is the president of the U.S. operations, has been around in the Bitcoin crypto circles for a long period of time. And I would tell you one other thing, that I got a bit of notoriety because 3 months before the SEC chairman, Jay Clayton, came out and said that he hadn't seen an ICO that he didn't think was a securities offering. I said the same thing. And I also said that most of the exchanges that were out there were not legal exchanges. And so, this is a really kind of unique situation because they are embracing the regulation and doing things the right way, which I believe long term is the only way, as institutions and others start to come into this market, as they inevitably will, because the technology is revolutionary. It's a game changer in the way that we're ultimately all going to invest our investable assets.
Thank you. Before I give you over to Shai, I just want to say a couple of things here. First of all, that nothing that we say should be construed as investment advice, and there may be forward-looking statements coming from us today that should not be relied upon as investment advice either. So what we're giving here is a 30,000-foot, talk about the company, but please understand this is not investment advice in any way whatsoever. Shai?
Yeah, thank you, Douglas, and thank you, David. First of all, I would like to thank everybody to join us and the confidence that you show with Inex Vision. For me, it's a very exciting day. When we started the journey 4 years ago, my vision was to bring the blockchain environment and the digital assets to a wide range of clients, where not only early adopters and high level of technology guys can trade, but it will be available to my mother and to my daughter. And from my point of view, in order to offer such complex tools, you have first to simplify this, and second, to put everything under full regulation and trust. And this was our vision 4 years ago, and this is a dream come true. On one side, we got cleared by the SEC of security token offering with no exemption. Secondly, to have the BD license to trade and list security token on a regulated platform. We have a very unique BD license from FINRA, and of course, a money transmitter license in order to be able to trade cryptocurrencies. So from my point of view, the blockchain and the digital assets are here to stay, to take over the financial world as we know and familiar with it today. And I believe that it's only a question of time, and not a long time, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, till we see everything moving into the blockchain, and we will see the dollar coin, we will see euro coin. I believe that it's only a question of time till we see the regular stock shares like Apple and Google moving to blockchain, tokenization of assets. Everything will move into the blockchain. And this is our Inex Vision, to be there and to enable everything to be listed and traded on a regulated platform in US. And this is a dream come true.
Thank you. Alan, do you have any words?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we've come a long way from, I think it was about 5 or 6 of us meeting in Israel a few years ago and starting this process. You know, it's the space has made great strides in the last several years on the regulatory front, and I think you can see now at Shai's vision and what we all believe, that you should ask permission and not forgiveness, is kind of coming to fruition. You see regulators kind of chasing unregulated platforms around the world and cutting off all their lifelines, and you know, it's great for INX. We sleep very well at night. You know, regulation and doing everything above board has always been a tenet of the company. And, you know, it's great to see us where we are today compared to a few years ago. It's been tremendous growth. It's 75, almost 75 people, like Douglas said. We were 15 at year end. And we'll continue on our growth and bring great products to the community.
All right, Maya, you're up. Maya's in charge of our products, and so Maya, any words before
I'm actually, you know, listening to you and David, Shai, Alan, and I have to say it's kind of a nice opportunity to take a break from the day-to-day and everything that we work so hard to get through to get to where we are, and just kind of step back for a second and appreciate where we are. Thinking about, you know, it seemed like such a dream when we started out on this process, and we had so many disclaimers in the prospectus, because we truly didn't know if we would reach this moment. So it's a very, very exciting day going into tomorrow, and excited to also interact with you guys here with the community.
All right, I got the first question coming up, and that's regarding the UI for the securities trading platform. So Maya, that one's going to be for you. Can you tell us about any sort of updates that you're expecting from that? Because obviously, you know, we took this from Open Finance. How are we changing?
Right. So, you know, we purchased this company from Open Finance, and then obtained ownership of it just about 2-3 months ago. During that time, there were some UI changes that were very, very critical for us, mainly around the trading view. So just even the positioning of the order book, the positioning of the platform, to just have things more convenient and kind of aligned with the way things are laid out at INX Digital, at our cryptocurrency platform. But I would say our main focus in the 2-3 months that have passed has been less on that, and more just you know, gaining confidence and feeling the responsibility that goes along with, you know, taking ownership of a new system. It offers this, you know, very special ability to trade digital securities directly. So on the UI front, I would say the main things you should expect tomorrow for the launch are kind of a rearrangement of the trading page. And then some changes on the, I would say, more cosmetic on the deposit and withdraw. Definitely the bigger changes will kind of go hand in hand with this approach that we are always striving towards, which is the one platform approach, a place where you can open an account and buy digital securities as well as cryptocurrencies as two separate products, but under the same umbrella. Was always our vision from the get-go, and that's what we're always working on, also on the technology side, to see how we can bring these systems under one roof. But maybe I'll expand on that a bit later.
Thank you, Maya. I think Maya also forgot that we're slashing prices on the security token platform. We're going from, I think, around 2.5% every time you do a trade to around 0.2%. I believe that that's going to be the lowest in the industry. And the reason is quite simple. We believe in democratizing ownership of security tokens, and you can't do that when it's only accredited investors trading things back and forth and paying ridiculously high fees whenever they buy something or sell something. We want to see liquidity. We want to see things trade, and so we're taking these costs down considerably. Alan Silbert, you're up next. MT licenses, they're taking too long. What's going on here?
Yeah, they always take too long for sure. We're cleared in 15 states right now in the U.S., and I think by year end we'll add on several more. It's in the U.S. it's a difficult process. I wish it was all a uniform license for all 50 states at once, but unfortunately we have to go to every single state regulator. So bottom line, several more before year end, and then I would expect to get most of them by the end of 2022. The toughest one is New York. Texas is also kind of tough, but we constantly answer regular questions and try to get them closed out as fast as we can. So yeah, I would say several more by year end, and then most states in the U.S. by 2022.
Shai, are blue sky laws still a problem when it comes down to the trading of the INX token?
No, the blue sky process is only to the initial offering.
Very good. So anyone in the United States can now
anyone in the United States can trade the INX token on the secondary. We have the BD license, which is at the federal level in the United States and not at the state level. So no more blue sky.
Thank you. David, here's a question for you. You've got a lot of experience when it comes to NASDAQ. You were the vice chairman there. You've got a lot of insight as well into corporate boardrooms. How easy is it going to be for corporations to start thinking about doing listings on a digital nature?
Well, I think as the population of security token holders increases, more and more public company boards are going to think about how they can access that growing investor pool, and so I think it's it'll start out as a trickle and then it'll end up being a flood. I think going out 3-4 years, you'll start to see everybody convert over, would be my kind of expectation. I'm not sure it's a conversion as much as you'll do both. I mean, the interesting thing about securities tokens too is the kind of innovation you can do in security structure, because you can pay dividend distributions cost effectively with much greater frequency, which the market values. There's a range of things that you can do. And so I expect to see sort of an incredible renaissance in innovation when it comes to security structure and the kinds of things that people can invest in. And I think that'll make it interesting and broaden out the appeal to all sorts of different corporations. I mean, look at the INX token. It's a different kind of security because of the participation that it offers that you wouldn't see in a traditional equity, for example. So I think you're going to see an avalanche here, but it's going to give it a couple of years, and I think you're going to see a lot of people putting their toe in the water, a lot of companies.
Thank you, David. On the back of that, just to expand on that a little bit, maybe I should talk about how the token does differ from equity. Normally, when a company issues equity and it wants to keep on raising money, it dilutes the initial investors, and the initial investors are diluted and diluted and diluted. The guy that bought 1% of Amazon today maybe owns 0.00001% of Amazon. With a security token, because it's fixed, we can't print any more security tokens against the 40% of net operating cash flow. And I think that that's important because it means that the percentage that you own of that 40% when you own the tokens will not change. You will not be diluted. We can't issue more than that 200 million tokens that we initially minted against the 40%. I think that that's a very important point. All right, next question, and I'm actually going to take this one. How are you going to attract institutional volume to the platform? Well, I guess this is related to INX Digital, or our crypto trading platform. And, you know, Shai and myself both have a lot of background when it comes down to dealing with institutions in the foreign exchange space. And we see it very similar to the crypto space in that what you do is you create an API, you put that API in your website, and you start letting people know the API exists. We've created that API. It's on our website. You can find it today, and you can connect simply and get in there and start trading on the prices. Now, I know that you're probably looking at the liquidity that's in there today and thinking there's nothing here. You're never going to get institutions. And that's because there's two types of liquidity that we're going to end up having in the next couple of months. There's obviously going to be a retail liquidity and then there'll be institutional liquidity, two different instances. Because retail doesn't want to buy $15,000 worth of Bitcoin. They want to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. So there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, but there is an API that's available today on the website. You can go in there, you can download it, you can take a look at the specs, and you can get involved. Also, though, as you know, the ILS brokers transaction has 40 plus tier one banks that we are now have touch points to that we're discussing what can we do to you for you in the crypto space, and whether it's giving them an API to trade spot in this product or whether it's making prices in the NDF product. Either way, I think we're ahead of a lot of the folks in this space in terms of what we're trying to do and what we're the discussions that we're having. Another question, is the focus institutional or retail flows? Well, I got to be honest with you, today it starts with retail, but that's only because institutions today aren't into crypto as much as retail is. And so right now we're going where the market is, and that's obviously on the retail space, but we have a lot of institutional type offerings, including this API that I just talked about, that you will be hearing more and more of as we go on. You'll also start to hear about some of the partnerships, and that's another one here. Do you have any new partnerships in addition to those mentioned previously? Well, what we mentioned previously, and that when you allude to that in the conversation, was the types of tokens that we want to list on INX. Obviously, I'd say that we talk to 2 or 3 companies a day that have an interest. It's sort of like a Shark Tank, and folks come and they pitch their ideas. We're constantly talking to people. But remember, the timing of when a listing happens for a security token on our platform is out of our hands. We can certainly discuss these types of things with folks, but it comes down to the regulators giving them approval. It comes down to when they raise their money and how they raise their money. So a lot of it's out of our hands, but certainly we have discussions continually. Please provide earnings growth outlook for the ILS business. I'm sorry, but we're not going to give any sort of earnings outlooks to anybody. There's a continuous thing here about what's it realistic for the price to reach 5,900 that I keep seeing on the chat. I'd like to make something very clear. This 5,900 number came from during the IPO when there was a discussion of how many people are now holders of the INX token. Either Alan or myself said 5,900. This is certainly not a price prediction. And the company does not make price predictions.
I think it was my fault. I think I said 5,900 investors, I think. I'm to blame.
Shai, any plans for margin trading on INX Digital?
Margin trading requires a special license from probably the CFTC. The vision of INX is to enable and to offer all different types of products to everybody, meaning cryptocurrencies, security tokens, derivatives, leverage, lending, of course, as long as we have the license for this. So we are in intensive checks with the regulators, what we can do. Once we have a visible and a solid answer, we will share it with the community.
Thank you. Here's one. When will the trading pairs on INX Digital show up as available markets on websites such as CoinMarketCap? Alan.
As soon as possible. I can't give a time frame for it, but our aim is to be as visible as possible, be out there on apps like Blockfolio and CoinMarketCap and things like that. So it's on the radar.
Very good. What volume numbers are you targeting for 2021 and 2022? Again, these are not numbers that we will give at any time in terms of where we think things will be. How many additional security tokens do you think will be added to INX Securities in 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months from now? How many will be available to everyone? Again, that's not something that I can discuss here. I can tell you that most security tokens, as they go through the process, aren't available to everyone. There's a lot of Reg Ds that are out there that are only for accredited investors. Now, that's because there wasn't a pathway before really for retail globally around the world to be invested in security tokens. Now, obviously, INX changed that game and put in the F1 prospectus. That F1 prospectus is now being used by law firms pretty much around the world as a staple or as the roadmap for doing a public offering like the one that we did, given the success of it. And there are a number of F1 or S1 prospectuses that are sitting right now at the Edgar database. So hopefully we'll list a lot of these. Will INX, so here's one for Maya. Will INX have an automatic weekly or monthly purchase plan for crypto?
Short answer, yes. That's definitely a feature that we'd like to have on the platform, but I would say it kind of goes along with a very long list of features. You know, we want the platform to be very rich in terms of features and products that it offers, and that'll definitely be one of them down the line.
Thank you. Shai Datika, when will the mobile app be ready?
I prefer Maya to answer this question.
Maya, back to you.
No problem. So I would say since our launch, we definitely noticed kind of the usage being more towards mobiles, and we're focused on an app. But for us to release an app, it needs to be really kind of up to standard, which is not such an easy task. I think now that the team has grown and we have more working hands, it's something that's more realistic for us to look towards. Mm-hmm. I really hope that we can see one by year end, but I'll be happy if that happens.
Very good, thank you. Here's a question, and I think we've heard this in the community chat a lot. How is marketing going? I guess let me explain our thoughts on marketing, because I think that there's been a lot of folks that have been upset that we haven't started it yet. And the reality is you start marketing when you have a product that you're willing to go out there and put out to the market. And I think that I'd say half of the conversations that we have in the community chat are, when are you starting marketing? And the other half is, this isn't ready to go to market. I think that really you've got a little bit of each there, in that, yes, we have a product today, but that product's about to be added to significantly within the next, I'd say, 2 months. Now that's because we're obviously going to be listing the yen stablecoin from GMO. And let's just go over this again. So GMO Internet is the largest trader of foreign exchange in the world. It's a Japanese retail and institutional trading powerhouse. Dollar yen itself does around $750 billion in volume a night. Now, to put that in perspective, Bitcoin globally does around 40 billion. We're going to be the only guys in the Americas listing this yen stablecoin, and we have an agreement with GMO whereby some of their users, they've got around 13 million today, will come to our platform to trade the yen stablecoin. This yen stablecoin is a ERC20 token. It's gone through the NYDFS licensing or approval, and we're going to be listing that. So I think that we're going to attract a significant amount of folks to our platform. But marketing a product that right now has 5 or 6 different currency pairs on there doesn't make sense. As we add more and more, you'll start to hear us getting louder and louder. And I think that we're getting to that point soon where another way that we'll have marketing is obviously having a trading security. One of the important aspects for us for trading of our security was that folks will start to write about us or talk about us a lot more, because we actually have that security trading. It's not just us talking about it, it's actually in the market. So I think you can be prepared for us to start marketing considerably. we have the MT licenses. I believe, and maybe Alan can cover me here, I think 40% of the United States population. These MT licenses are coming in. I think you'll notice in the chat, probably on a monthly basis, we get 1 or 2 more. So, and as we get more and more, we start marketing more and more. So it's going to get aggressive, but it's not happening today.
I saw a couple questions in the comments. If an INX token holder is unaccredited, can they initially sell their token on the securities platform? Yes, they can. The token is available for trading to the general public, all 50 states in the U.S. And also several countries outside of the U.S.
Here's a question.
And then, the other one about ILS brokers, earnings being included in the net operating cash calc. Yes, it rolls up to the parent company. So yes, the ILS brokers profits will roll up to the parent company and be included in the cash operating cash flow calculation. Sorry, Douglas, go ahead.
Here's one directed at me. Douglas, you often in the past referred to existing crypto exchanges as, quote, bursting at the seams. On reflection, did you expect demand to be greater on the crypto exchange by now? Is it better than planned? Well, to be honest, we opened the crypto trading platform as soon as we could, and that's because of the demand that really came from the community. Everyone saying, I want to trade on our platform. So we've opened it up. But again, we haven't even started marketing. I don't know what the marketing budget is for Coinbase in the United States or for Kraken or Gemini. I'm pretty sure it's considerably more than the zero that we spent in marketing. And we will begin starting marketing soon when we're ready for it. And then I'll start having assumptions of where I think our audience should be versus where it is today. A shout out to Mr. Paz. He did nail the interface. Well, Paz isn't here, but he'll certainly appreciate that. Let's see. Now, if you have questions, I suggest that you put them into the questions that we're getting here so that we can answer them in live time. How will profit share be paid out, Alan Silbert?
Yeah, profit share. I think it's to refresh my memory on the prospectus. I think they can elect Ethereum or US dollars for payment of the profit share, is what I remember. So they'll be able to elect that at the time of the distribution.
Thank you. Where would INX be when it comes out tomorrow? Again, the price is not set by INX. The price would be set by where someone offers the tokens they already own versus someone that wants to pay at that price. INX has not set the price, nor is there a designated market maker for the product. Maya.
There's a question about, sorry, Douglas. There's a question about our tokens moved from Ethereum wallets to the exchange for trading, or they traded directly against the blockchain. So on the security side, it's a non-custodial platform where you're paired up with the buyer, or paired up with the seller. So so when you enter a trade, the tokens don't leave your wallet until the trade is confirmed, and then they move between seller and buyer. So it's a direct blockchain interaction between the buyer and seller off our platform.
Maya, how do OFN users know if their whitelisted wallets are connecting directly to the OFN platform?
I hope I understand the question correctly, but so once you are an owner of tokens and you whitelisted a wallet, then when you open your account at OFN, you need to connect that wallet to the OFN platform. So that's one side. And then for buyers of INX tokens that don't have a whitelisted wallet yet and don't hold tokens yet, sorry. Once a trade is matched, like Alan said, tokens are going to move from the seller's wallet to the buyer's wallet. Part of the match is whitelisting the buyer's wallet, and that's how those tokens are allowed to move. So I hope I answered the question.
Alan, I'll pass this to you if you can answer the questions for a second.
Sure. plan to list tokens on crypto side which no other exchanges trade yet, i.e. exclusive listings. So yeah, Douglas has been in discussions with many potential token listings, which kind of run the spectrum. The beautiful thing about tokens is you can do a million different things with them. You know, I know we've had discussions with sports teams about tokenizing revenue streams. We've had discussions with actors' estates about tokenizing the revenue streams from the estate of the actors' syndications. So there's many different unique use cases for tokens, and I think we announced already before the whiskey token, which you can have a little share of a whiskey collection in a whiskey cellar. I think, you know, now that we have both sides of the licensing, we have the crypto licensing on the MT side, and we have the broker dealer licensing, we can list tokens properly where they're supposed to be listed. One of the problems historically is that platforms have kind of taken liberties to list securities, things that are clearly securities on the crypto side, which is not legal, and I think we'll continue to kind of see pressure from regulators on exchanges that have done this.
And maybe I could give a little public service announcement here. So I think a lot of folks have come in and they've said, look, I bought tokens, I had them transferred to a TokenSoft wallet or to a Ledger wallet, you know, however they did it after the IPO. If you don't want to sell these tokens on the open, you don't have to set up an account at Open Finance, and you don't have to transfer them to a MetaMask wallet. That's only if you want to trade them. Now, let's say, though, you did want to trade, then what you would do is you would set up a MetaMask wallet. You would whitelist that MetaMask wallet. You would then send your tokens to that MetaMask wallet from whichever wallet it's in today. And then you would, when you log into, you bring the Chrome extension for MetaMask, and that would automatically be found by OFN once you load up OFN, and it would say, do you want to connect this wallet to it? And then you would be able to see your INX tokens. But to see your INX tokens in MetaMask, you have to add a custom token. You can find the address on Etherscan, or you can ask in the Telegram chat, and you would then put that in there. It's 18 decimals, and INX will show up. How do you view INX Securities to be operating this time next year? In other words, you know, where do we see a year from now the INX Securities platform? Who wants to take that one?
I can take this one. Where we see it, we see hundreds of thousands clients trading the INX token per month. This is the vision. I don't know the price. We cannot speak. We cannot speak about the price. But the vision is to have hundreds of thousands of clients on INX security platform trading the INX token, and not only the INX token. We have a vision to list tens of security token on the INX security platform, and this is the vision.
Thank you, Shai. And in terms of, you know, hundreds of thousands of users, I guess a reminder would be that while there were 7,300 odd holders of the INX token today, which I believe is more holders than all other security tokens in the US added together, there was around 61,000 or 60,000 folks that signed up but couldn't actually buy the INX token because of blue sky laws or other types of restrictions. Obviously, those restrictions are going to move away, but it shows that there is a broad demand for security tokens in the market today. And so we're excited to see where that's going to happen. Here's a question for Maya. Given the importance INX gives to customer service, how are we planning on measuring customer satisfaction?
That's a good question. We kind of keep mentioning the community, but I think a huge advantage that I've been feeling since we kind of got into this space is that direct connection with the community, which a lot of times you just don't have. You don't have that direct way to communicate with your own users, with your own customers. So having that great relationship with the community is definitely one aspect. Another way of maybe not measuring customer satisfaction, but kind of aiming for customer satisfaction is, of course, things like loyalty plans that we plan on putting in place. And I'd say maybe lastly, really having the right people in those positions of customer support and operations who really kind of value the level of service that we give. And we feel like we have those right people and they're keep us on track.
Thank you, Maya. David, here's one for you. In terms of competition to INX, how do you foresee NASDAQ and other major institutional exchanges responding to tokenization of equities?
That's a great question. I think everybody is going to want to get into the space at some point, but I think that those that are there first are obviously going to create the greatest value. Then the question is whether or not the value of INX exceeds ultimately that of either NYSE or NASDAQ, and whether or not it's realistic ultimately to look at an acquisition. But it's very normal. I'm an investment banker by training, and at some point there's going to be a consolidation phase in these markets, right? And I think that's where people who are early movers tend to make an exceptional amount of money, because people will start to consolidate and create consolidated pools of liquidity. So it's hard to predict. I know that there's interest at both NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, but as yet we haven't seen them enter into these marketplaces. But it'll happen on some basis. They're not higher there, which it might have been the last to go. You'd rather have an established business, let somebody else establish it. So, and I hope that answers the question, but it's hard to predict how it's going to unfold, but there's a number of entrants. There will be consolidation at some point. There will be acquisitions at some point. And question is whether or not the new entrants like INX, their market caps ultimately exceed, which makes it prohibitive. And sometimes the minnows swallow the whales.
Thank you, David. I think that kind of goes back to, I guess, the discussions or the press that we've heard from the larger exchanges, where they've always talked about, as for their market cap jumps much higher, they think about buying NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. But I think what's interesting and what people don't understand is when Henry Ford invented the automobile, he didn't turn around and buy the blacksmiths. And I think that that's sort of something to keep in mind, in that, digital and blockchain is something that's very new. It's much more efficient than the way things are done today. So I'm not sure that it always makes sense to buy the inefficient member if you've got something that's more efficient today. But I think time's going to tell us, and we'll find out. Now, I've got a question here about security tokens, minimum size of entities that we want to list and things like that. So let me just give a quick overview. In general, we'd like to list things that are over $5 million. I think that the sweet spot's probably going to be around $75 million up to maybe $300 million. The reason being because you need to have an audience greater than what we have, I'd say, for an issue that's over $300 million. But this audience is going to grow and grow. Every time we list a new security token, we'll attract more people to the platform. If the INX token attracts 10,000 people, then maybe the next one attracts 10,000 and the next one. And each time we build that audience, it means that we can bring on larger market cap players. So the sweet spot today is probably anywhere from 75 million to $300 million. But what exactly do we do in this? Well, the OFN purchase, the purchase of Open Finance, allowed us to go in there and consult and help when it comes down to the actual primary raise, or nose to tail when it comes down to a company coming to us to talk to us, our licensed representatives, obviously, and then all the way coming through to the minting of the tokens and the distribution of the tokens, the KYC, the AML, all the way into then listing on the INX platform. So there's a lot of exciting things. One thing that we do note is that lots of people have ideas, lots of people want to raise money, but not everyone has the ability or the story that we think is going to sell well to our community. And so we do talk to a lot of issuers to make sure they actually are the right ones for our community and for our product today.
Douglas, there's a question. Where can I buy the INX token?
You can buy the INX token nowhere today, but tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time, You'll be able to buy it at securities.inx.co if someone is selling it. So we're listing it tomorrow, but we can't guarantee that folks are going to be selling it.
And may I add that following of what we see on the pipeline of the support, we have huge numbers of new registered clients on the Inex security platform. So anyone who wants to buy, sell, trade on the Inex platform better be registered and cleared by the compliance of INX. And you better do it now because the pipeline is long.
Very good. Here's one that really I think is going to drive a stake into Shai's heart, because I think it's a very important question that the community's had for some time now. Where's the merch store?
Merch?
Merchandise.
This?
Yeah.
This?
Where's the merch store, Shai?
I don't know. I can sell this. I start with $1,000.
Right, good. The merchandise store is in development, and it will be showing up on our website at some point. Maya, do you have any insight as to that?
On the merch store, my honest opinion, it's one of the only things that's not on my plate at this moment.
Well, I can tell everyone that there is going to be a merch store. I was in Israel about a month ago and saw all the designs and the products. That should be up shortly, and that should be pretty exciting.
We're getting, I'm getting a ping that next month, merch store next month is what I'm hearing.
All right, so Q3.
So there you go.
Q3.
Banking, Maya, maybe you can help us with banking here, because right now I think the only way to get into digital is by sending a wire. There's limitations as well on the securities side in terms of banking ways to put money into the platform. Can you tell us any insight as to what we're working on in the background under the hood?
Yeah, sure. I actually also saw a question that was talking about the conversion of Ethereum, depositing Ethereum on INX Securities. So maybe I'll take that first. Yes, today that's done through a third-party provider. Yes, in the future we want to change that, seeing as we don't see a reason to go through a third-party provider because we have a cryptocurrency trading platform. So that's something that we're going to definitely straighten out in the coming months. But for now, all Ethereum deposits on INX Securities go through a third-party provider and are converted to US dollars before deposited into the customer's account at INX Securities. On INX Digital, for the immediate pipeline, I would say ACH is our main focus, just seeing as the US is our main focus in terms of territory. But as we look to as we look to spread out to other territories, we're definitely going to add local payment methods, if it's European payment methods or whatever's special to that specific territory.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Maya. We're going to wrap this up now. It's 8:47. We're given 2 extra minutes in here. I'd like to say something, though. Listen, community, we very much respect you. We love getting your comments. We love hearing from you. You'll probably hear less from Alan and I in the community chat over the next couple of days and weeks and months, because once we're live trading, there's no way that I or Alan want to be seen as unduly, moving the price of the INX token. So we'll probably disappear from the chat for some time, but we're certainly, listening to you guys, and appreciate you being here with us. Tomorrow's going to be a very exciting day, I think, for the community, obviously for management and the board. This is real, and it's very exciting. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for attending our AMA today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A one-stop shop for cryptocurrencies and digital securities. When others ran from regulators, we found a way to work with the biggest. The crypto trading powerhouse that brought you the first SEC-registered security token IPO offered to the general public is now ready for the ultimate bulls versus bears showdown. The question is, are you? Apply now at INX.co.